What's up, guys? It's Benny. The single most popular meme template on the internet right now is Marco Rubio sitting grumpily on a couch in the apparel of the new country that the Trump administration has conquered, whether that be Venezuela or Greenland or Cuba in this instance. Soon, Iran, I'm sure. But Cuba is going to be near and dear to Marco's heart because Marco Rubio speaks fluent Spanish. He's Cuban by descent. He's first generation Cuban. His family immigrated here because of the Castro regime and the political instability of the island that was once the gem of the West. Cuba used to be, before the communist revolution took over and freed their people. It used to be a wonderful place to live. It used to be a thriving economy, a thriving culture, a people who were going to be part of the West. We're going 90 miles off the coast of a superpower. The mob was going to put Vegas in Havana. It was going to be a mecca for American investment and so on and so forth. So whatever you think of the mob, whatever you think of Vegas, whatever you think of gambling and so on, Cuba had its heyday, and that heyday was stolen from them and destroyed. Nonetheless, the Trump administration is, well, I don't know, 1 for 1, 10 for 10 when it comes to toppling regimes at this point. And as you can see, Marco Rubio getting his Cuban fit on. It definitely works. Marco Rubio, one of the single most powerful men on earth. And he's got to be thrilled about President Trump's most recent post here saying he's going to be the next president of Cuba. Breaking President Trump says Marco Rubio will be appointed president of Cuba. Marco Rubio will be president of Cuba, says President Trump. That sounds good to me. The jobs just keep coming for Marco. This is President Trump posting this on Truth Social. And this follows, of course, the meme works perfectly in this instance, a massive series of W's for the Trump administration as the Iranian regime is in collapse. Venezuela has effectively been conquered by the United States. I don't want to count your chickens before they're hatched there, but it seems like a very firm hand in Venezuela. Russia and China are running scared, and Greenland is within our grasp. El Presidente of Venezuela, supreme leader of Iran, dictator of Cuba, lord of Greenland, governor of Minnesota, chief archivist, editor of USAID, and Secretary of State Marco Rubio. There you go with the 6-shooter. Nicely done. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, President Trump has announced that he is going to make Marco Rubio the president of Cuba. So all the memes have come true. But more importantly, Donald Trump is following that up with action. President Trump, while he's trolling Marco Rubio here, is saying that Cuba is about to collapse and they better make a damn deal before it's too late. So in following this up, here's what President Trump posted on Truth Social right afterwards, meaning he's really serious about this. Cuba lived for many years in large amounts of oil and money from Venezuela. In return, Cuba provided security services for the last 2 Venezuelan dictators, but not anymore. Most of those Cubans are dead from last week's USA attack, and Venezuela doesn't need protection anymore from the thugs and extortionists who held them hostage for many years. Venezuela now has the United States of America and a far more powerful military in the world by far. To protect them, and protect them we will. There will be no more oil or money going to Cuba. Zero. I strongly suggest that they make a deal before it's too late. Thank you for your attention to this matter. From President Trump posting again this morning that they had better make a deal before it's too late. Everybody knows these are not idle threats any longer. This follows President Trump saying time after time when he's before the microphones and cameras this first week of January that Cuba is next. Trump said sight on Cuba threatens communist regime before it's too late. President Trump has been effectively stating that Cuba is next on the menu, boys, taking out effectively the cartel leaders in South America one by one with horrifying precision and accuracy. Marco Rubio walking into Mar-a-Lago as governor of Minnesota, Venezuela, Cuba Supreme Secretary of Iran, Grand Advisor of Ukraine, and Director of Greenland, and soon Canada. Yes, thank you. We're here for it. Marco Rubio overperforming, let's just say. There's not a job that Marco can't do. Vance Rubio ticket is starting to look more and more plausible. We're like the Crusades, but it's spreading MAGA. I hope he gets paid accordingly. This is the funniest team ever. Trump isn't just toying with Latin American companies. He's trolling them now. Trump disregard for international law will have consequences. Iran, Taiwan before 2026. Here's to Secretary Marco Rubio. At this rate, Marco Rubio may hold the world record for the most titles. And by the way, this is raising Marco Rubio's image in the mind of MAGA voters. He is now skyrocketed to second place when it comes to who do you want to be the presidential nominee in 2026. Here, ladies and gentlemen, is Donald Trump speaking pretty brutally about what's awaiting Cuba if they do not make a deal with the United States. This was from just a few days ago.
Months ago, President Trump calling out Cuba on Truth Social, urging the regime to cut a deal with the U.S. following the military action in Venezuela. Trump declaring that no more oil or money will be going to Cuba from Venezuela, adding, quote, "I strongly suggest they make a deal before it's too late."
Hey guys, that was the prediction. You take out Maduro, you control the oil, which was going there. You're going to see Cuba go down and maybe even Nicaragua.
It's like the domino effect.
You know, one of the things that is happening, and I think you see it all the time, Howard, you've seen it, that Cuba is ready to fall. You know? Yes. Cuba looks like it's ready to fall. I don't know if they're going to hold out. But Cuba now has no income. They got all of their income from Venezuela, from the Venezuelan oil. They're not getting any of it. And Cuba literally is ready to fall. And you have a lot of great Cuban Americans that are going to be very happy.
President Trump has also promised that Mexico, again, is on the menu. Mexico shares a physical border with the United States of America, a very, very long one. And much like Cuba, it's very close to our nation, and they are smuggling drugs at scale into our country, most of them from Colombia. Now you can see the dictator of Colombia, Presidente of Colombia, posting eagle and jaguar memes. All of Latin America is running terrified and scared right now. They don't look happy. Here's President Trump on Mexico, stating, F around and find out. You know, maybe it's time that we just start bombing Mexico. Trump said that 24 hours ago. I think he means it. I think he means it. Get ready for another wild week. Here we go.
And by the way, you have to do something with Mexico. Mexico has to get their act together because they're pouring through Mexico, and we're going to have to do something. We'd love Mexico to do it. They're capable of doing it, but unfortunately the cartels are very strong in Mexico.
Actually, speaking of Mexico, I asked you about the Claudia Sheinbaum, and you told me at one point you would offer to send U.S. troops into Mexico to combat drug trafficking there. Is that something you would
I like Claudia. I think she's a terrific person. I would say every single time I talk to her, I offer to send troops.
And she's just not willing?
She's concerned. She's a little afraid. The cartels are running Mexico. Whether you like it or not,